So someone emailed me recently and said, "Hey Jim, I just got started trading. I'm really excited, but I could really use a checklist for vertical spreads because I know that's a great strategy to start with. I feel really comfortable learning with that strategy because of the defined risk nature. But do you have a little bit of a checklist that I could use in terms of, what kind of IV am I looking for? How far out should I go? How do I determine my strike selection, debit paid, credit collected, all those things?" So let's go ahead. I'm going to answer that email. I answered it via email, but I'm going to answer it here in this episode of Calculated Risk, and let's work through a very usable checklist for vertical spreads for you right here today. So a quick little disclaimer before we get into the checklist. If you are brand new to trading, I cannot possibly recommend enough. You should only be doing defined risk strategies for some time. Might be a couple of weeks, might be a couple of months, might be a couple of years. I've seen people progress along the learning curve at all different types of paces, but starting out, you are going to make mistakes. It's going to be bumpy. You're going to collect some bruises. But by having the risk defined, you know that no matter how wrong your trade might be or how big your mistake might be, it can only get so bad. That's a really powerful thing when you are learning out. So I cannot recommend enough. Only do defined risk strategies. Whether it be a vertical spread or something else, doesn't really matter. This is where you need to start. But vertical spreads are a very natural starting point. So let's work through the four basic vertical spread types. So long call spread, short call spread, long put spread, and short put spread. And let's talk through some of the key characteristics along that checklist to look for when you're putting the trades on. And our checklist is going to be implied volatility rank, so IVR, the debit paid or the credit collected. It's going to be probability, strike selection, and then the DTE or the duration of the trade. And to make things a bit simpler, let's kind of bracket together long call spreads and long put spreads, so long vertical spreads, and then short call spreads and short put spreads, so short vertical spreads. We'll run through the checklist for both types of strategies, long verticals and short verticals. So the first variable on the list, implied volatility rank or IVR, and generally speaking, implied volatility rank is going to show you how high or low volatility is relative to itself over the last 12 months. And so when we want to buy premium with something like a long vertical spread, this is going to make more sense when volatility is lower. So this is when the IVR is like 0 or single digits or possibly even negative, which simply means that it's lower than its previous low point over the last 12 months. That could be a good environment to buy premium in the form of a long vertical spread, because if volatility does mean revert and move back higher, then that is going to help your spread. But then for short vertical spreads, we're going to want high implied volatility. Like for short vertical spreads, I want to sell when volatility is higher. And so that's going to be a much more suitable strategy when IVRs are higher. So now we're looking for usually anything over 30 is a good marker. So 30, 35, 40, 50, 60, 70. These would all be great entry points from an IVR standpoint for a short vertical spread. Because again, I want to position myself to potentially benefit from any volatility mean reversion that might actually take shape in the marketplace. So just like I wanted to buy vertical spreads when volatility was lower in hopes that it might expand, here I'm selling vertical spreads, short vertical spreads, when volatility is higher, because now if volatility mean reverts and goes back lower, that's going to help me too. Okay, next up, the cost of the strategy. So if this is a long vertical spread, it's going to be the debit that you pay. If this is a short vertical spread, it's going to be the credit that you collect. And this is going to be very different depending on which type of strategy that you're using. For a long vertical spread, we're typically looking to pay about half the width of the spread. So 50% the width of the spread is typically the debit that we want to pay on that spread. So if I'm doing a $2 wide long vertical, I'm going to pay about $1. It doesn't have to be exact, but maybe 97 cents or $1.06 or maybe $1, but somewhere around that point. If I'm doing a $3 wide vertical that I'm going to buy, I'm looking to pay about $1.50 and so on and so forth. Now for short vertical spreads, here I want to collect about 1/3 the width of the strikes at a minimum. So if I'm doing a $3 wide vertical, I want to collect at least $1. If I'm doing a $5 wide vertical, I want to collect at least $1.67 or $1.70. And then if I'm doing, a $10 wide vertical, I want to collect at least, $3.33 or more, because what this does is it gives me a probability of profit that is generally 60% or higher by doing this. By moving my strikes far enough out that I'm collecting 1/3 the width of the strikes, it gives me a really favorable probability and probabilistic situation at trade entry. Now, me personally, I oftentimes kind of crank the credit up to as high as 40% the width of the spread because I want to collect more on order entry with defined risk to give me a slightly better risk return trade-off, but that's just my personal preference. I think anywhere between 33% and 40% the width of the spread is a really good starting point for your short verticals. Okay, now strike selection. So a long vertical spread that I'm paying about half the width of the spread. Some people that have been trading for a little while, you already know where I'm going with this. The only way you're going to be able to do that is if you straddle the current stock price with your strike selection. So what I mean by that is this: if the current stock price is 100, then I'm going to buy my long option, whether it's a long call spread or a long put spread. The long portion of that spread is going to be a couple strikes in the money, and the short portion of that spread is going to be a couple strikes out of the money. But I basically want wherever the stock price is now to be smack dab in the center of that spread. That is going to give me about half the width of the spread in its cost. It's also going to give me about a 50-50 probability, which is exactly what I want. I want this directional play with a long vertical spread to be a coin flip. I want this to be 50-50 because I could buy a call or I could buy a put, of course, but those are never 50-50 because you've got all that theta that's going to be working against you. By spreading it off with a long vertical spread, the theta impacts are very negligible because you have that short option that's coming in and kind of working against all the negative theta that you built up or that accumulated on the long option at trade entry. And so that's why we like to kind of straddle the current stock price with a long vertical spread. It really just makes a lot of sense. Okay, so what about a short vertical spread? Well, this is actually pretty easy because there is no hard and fast rule for strike selection. You just use the credit that you collect to be your guide. Right, again, I'm collecting at least 1/3, maybe up to 40% of the width of the spread. So I move my strikes around such that I kind of see where they would be for me to collect that amount of premium on entry. And then don't forget, there will be times in the market when you're looking at the chain and you're on the put side or the call side or whatever, and you're moving the strikes around and you're just not getting a desirable credit. You're just not getting paid enough to compensate you for the risk in the trade. You're too close to the stock price or you just don't like where it sets up. Just walk away. Just walk away. There are times where because of the skew across the option chain or the specific volatility metrics in the market or that individual particular stock, when it just doesn't look good and it doesn't make sense, walk away and go find something else to trade. Okay, and now the last variable, the DTE or the time in the trade. Let's start with the short verticals this time. Okay. When it comes to short vertical spreads, much like all short premium, we like to get in around 45 days to go because that is a really favorable spot on the decay curve when it comes to looking at how extrinsic value drops off of an option over time. It doesn't really matter if you're in the money, at the money, and out of the money. All those curves look differently as they get closer and closer to expiration, but they all kind of start working more favorably in our direction as premium sellers right around that 45-day marker where the decay begins to accelerate a little bit more quickly, and that's really, really good for us. So for a short vertical spread, pretty simple, in around 45 days to go, and then simply go for your profit target, whatever that might be in the trade. 50% of max profit, 40% of max profit, whatever you might be going for. And for long verticals, there's a lot more flexibility because you're not playing time decay anymore. This is a long premium strategy that you're essentially trying to mitigate or nullify the decay so it doesn't work against you. So you could really do these. You could do these overnight. You could do them in a 7-day cycle. You could do a 14-day cycle. You could even do a 45-day cycle to kind of give the same amount of time that you would do a short vertical and just give the trade plenty of time and plenty of duration to work in your favor. So you can mix and match and you can try out different expirations when it comes to this. Just understand that if you only have a day or two, then it's pretty much a one-shot type of deal. Like you've got one shot for this thing to work, and if it doesn't work, then it's not going to work. But if you do have 45 days or 30 days or what have you, you have a lot more time for your thesis to play out in that stock, whatever it might be. So if you're newer to options, please, 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 please start with defined risk. All the undefined risk stuff later on down the road, yes, it's a lot more effective. Yes, there's a lot more opportunity there. I firmly believe that myself wholeheartedly. But man, you've got to crawl before you can walk. You've got to walk before you can run. And so that is the stage that you are in right now. Now, hopefully, my hope is that you have a checklist that you can use and you find it valuable for kind of thinking about vertical spreads and how to piece these guys together. Strike selection, probabilities, DTE, and debit paid and credit collected, and all those things. My hope is now it's a one-stop shop for all the things that you need with a vertical spread checklist, and we'll see you guys next time.